When was the first time you became fascinated by elephants?
I read a story about Kabul, and he'd been chained all his life and used for the entertainment industry. And when they rescued him, he actually physically cried because it was the first time in his life that he hadn't been in chains. I then found out about Jockey at an elephant nature park. She'd been working as a logging elephant and she'd had a baby and it was stillborn. And the mahout who owned her wouldn't let her go to the baby even though it was dead. So he blinded her in one eye and he dumped her, and somebody told Lek and she went and rescued her, and she was one of the first 3 elephants she rescued to start the nature park.
So is this why you devote your life so
Yeah.
much to elephant welfare?
Yeah, you're a voice for the voiceless, and what they do to train them to be in the entertainment industry is absolutely abhorrent. It's called fajan, and they beat them and they chain them so that they literally take the soul out of them.
So what was it like the first time you saw an elephant?
I went to the nature park, it was amazing. I know it was in the instant, but I thought I never want to leave.
When you went to the elephant park, what was it like?
The first time I went, every day you did a different task, and you'd either go and clean the elephant poo or you'd go to the kitchens. The older elephants have rice in leaves because they've no teeth so they can't chew. They have night shelters where they're not chained up, but they're in the night shelters because there's no fences round so that they don't wander off in the night.
Do you think tourism's important when it comes to looking after animals?
I do think it's important, but I think the tourists need to know that they're going to an ethical sanctuary where there are no hooks, no contact with the elephants because they've been abused all their lives. They don't need people touching them and stroking them. That they're trying to live as close to the wild as possible. That's the idea of Elephant Nature Park.
On a more negative note, what was your feeling when you first found out about the floods?
Oh, it was awful, it was heartbroken. It's going to take months and months to get it sorted because it was 5 metres high, the water. It was like a tidal wave.
Can you talk to me about the elephant that was blind and they had to lead it up the hill?
There's a few of the elephants are blind. Jockey, and then there was another one, Ploy Tongue, and she's blind, but she heard another elephant call out and she went back to it because they won't leave anybody. She got caught up in some trees and it just took her down the river and she drowned. I would have loved to have gone and help with the clean up.
And if you were Lek, was there anything that you could praise her about or anything you would have done differently?
She did absolutely everything she could possibly do. She was out in a boat trying to get to the elephants. She's an amazing woman. Over the pandemic, she turned about 27 camps from riding camps into ethical camps.
So after all the work, they've really turned the devastation around.
Yeah, the volunteer accommodation isn't open, but she's managed to find accommodation in the area for them, and they pick them up every day in a coach and take them to the park, and they work all day rebuilding.
What would a world be like without elephants? Why do you think they're so important?
Well, they call them God's gardeners because obviously when they poop, they're herbivores and everything goes back to the ground. It reseeds things, they grow trees, grasses. It just wouldn't be the same.